Everywhere we look these days, some government bureaucrat, some government agency is collecting information on us and putting it into some kind of file. It starts the day you're born, and it probably doesn't end even after you die. They're still collecting information. Right now we're undergoing the census. President Obama is hiring 1 million new census workers to spread out across the land and collect information. The census form, some people believe, is intrusive. But let me tell you something. There's a thing called the American Community Survey, which is sprinkled out over various years and is being sprinkled out across the country to various taxpayers, many taxpayers, millions of taxpayers, that is very, very intrusive. At 24 pages, this particular census form asks some of the most intrusive information I've ever seen asked of American citizens, from your emotional health, to your family, to your private business matters, to the mortgage on your home. It covers the entire spectrum. Things that you would not want some of your neighbors knowing, and probably some of your family members knowing. Representative Ron Paul from Texas has called some of this information ludicrous and insulting to be asking of American citizens. In other words, the government collecting information like this, very private matters. I'm going to refer down to my notes here to make sure I'm accurate on all the information. Again, you can download this from the American Community Survey website to see what you may be asked if one of these forms appears at your home. The survey asks how many bedrooms and bathrooms you have in your house, along with the fuel used to heat your home, the cost of electricity, what type of mortgage you have, and your monthly mortgage payments, property taxes, and so on. The questionnaire also demands how many days you were sick last year, how many stairs are in your home, and amazingly, and whether or not you have trouble getting up and down the stairs. Amazingly, what time you leave for work every morning and how long it takes you to get to work. With the powers given the government under the U.S. Patriot Act, telling the government or anybody when you're leaving home, what time you leave home, and how long it takes to get there is kind of silly, because the government has amazing powers now under federal law to come into your home while you're not there and do secret searches of your home if they want to, putting the so-called magic lantern on your computer and downloading information from your computer, therefore knowing the basic information about your life. The survey also demands that you violate the privacy of your friends and family by supplying the names and addresses of your friends, your relatives, and your employer. It wants to know other information about people in your home, such as their educational level, how many years of schooling they've completed, what language they speak, when they last worked at a job, among other things. What we're seeing happening in the United States through the emerging surveillance state is what George Orwell talked about in his book 1984. We're now being subjected to the thought police. As Orwell says, and I think this is a very pertinent point, he said the family has become in effect an extension of the thought police. It was a device by means of which everyone could be surrounded night and day by informers who knew him intimately. One obvious concern with detailed forms like this, who asks about the mortgage on your home, what you're making, all those things. If you're being honest in answering your questions and you make a mistake and it doesn't match up, and it will be matched up against IRS returns, your tax returns, you could end up getting audited, accused of not telling the truth. Amazingly though, this is not a voluntary thing. This is not a voluntary survey. You have to answer it. The fines are very, very stiff. To be accurate, I'm looking down at my notes again. If you refuse, for every question not answered, there's a $100 fine. For every intentionally false response to the question, the fine is $500. Therefore, if a person representing a two-person household refused to fill out any of the questions or simply answered nonsensically, the total fines could range between $10,000 and $50,000 for not filling out this particular form. And believe it or not, people, they will enforce this. You'll end up in court over this particular situation. The Founding Fathers, the so-called founders who wrote our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, they provided for a census. It was a simple head count so they'd know how many people were in the country. It's gone way beyond what the Founding Fathers even intended or could envision. They did not envision a huge bureaucracy, government bureaucracy building up. In fact, they would have been very, very upset by such a thing. But they also did not think that American citizens would ever just submit willy-nilly to everything the government asked. I think we're at a really crossroads in this country as we either stand up for our rights, our privacy, or folks, we're going to lose it.